I'm Rachel Hollings. I'm Artistic Administrator of the Royal Ballet. So I've now been in the job here at the Royal Ballet for a decade. I started at the Royal Ballet School 15 years ago. I went from the Royal Ballet School after those 15 years here to the Royal Ballet, and so between the two I've done 25 years, which is, I feel very fortunate. It's great to feel part of this amazing family over that span of time. I first got into working in the ballet world, I loved ballet as a child, and was always very interested in it and loved the history. I used to love looking at photographs of ballet and learning all about the great history, and the Royal Ballet was of particular interest. I studied music, drama and dance at university. I majored in the piano, and I then went off to university. After university, went to Australia for a little while, and then I came back, worked at the Royal Academy of Dance for a while before I went to the Royal Ballet School. So I do feel very fortunate that arts administration has enabled me to be part of a wonderful world like this. As artistic administrator, I have a wide remit of looking after content at the Royal Ballet. So I work with lots of different departments at the Royal Opera House to help form how we talk about the work of the ballet company, and to check that we're saying the right things about it, that we're being informative, that we're being accurate, and that can take many forms. I'm working with the marketing department, with social media, I'm working with publications, I'm writing some material, I'm proofing a lot of material, looking at imagery, looking at words. How do we talk about what we do? I talk to the choreographers to see how we talk about the work, the new work that is going on the stage. I also work on insights, on the cinema content, where we talk about what guests might come on, how do we tell our audiences, including our wonderful audiences in Japan, what it is about these ballets that they can be looking out for. I think, having grown up loving the Royal Ballet, this company is particularly close to my heart, and the standard of the dancers, their ability to tell stories, those narratives ballets that we have, but even in all the work that we do, I think they tell a very human story. What you see on stage, the dancers feel very much like real people as well as the characters they're playing, and that is something that's very particular to the Royal Ballet. It may be the repertory that we've learned along the way, that we've had during that time, since, well, it's not quite 100 years, but we'll be heading that way soon. The choreographers like Frederick Ashton and Kenneth Macmillan, there is such unique storytelling in those ballets, and I think that has formed the character of who the Royal Ballet is today. In my job, I do feel that it's very important that we're looking to our audiences to see what appeals to them, and that we should find a way for them to feel very involved in the ballet world. When we went through COVID, it was a hard time, because when we first got back on stage, the dancers performed in an empty auditorium, and that was really difficult. I think it made me realise more than ever that it's not just about an audience watching the dancers on stage, it's about a special kind of communion where the dancers and audience are both feeding off each other. And I always feel as though what I'd like to make sure is that the Royal Ballet is a welcoming space for everybody, because the power of dance to move, it really is very special, and I think we have to find ways to communicate that to everybody around the world. So when we're talking about a production, like for example La Fille Malgarde, we will be thinking of different ways to let audiences know about it. So we will be looking at things like making lots of little trailers, clipping from past cinema relays, taking photographs in the rehearsal studio, letting people know it's happening. We might be writing to audiences in newsletters to say, this is coming up, come and see it. On social media, which you may be looking at yourselves, you'll see moments of us talking about it. We'll also do insights. So those are filmed insights that can be watched on YouTube channels, for example, and the dancers will be seen in rehearsal preparing for that. And those are all the ideas of letting an audience know that this work is coming up and what might interest them. So depending on each production, we would be thinking of ideas of what is a particular hook for that production, what is it that's particularly beautiful about it. And so we might be talking to our departments a while before about the kind of language that we would use, what might be appealing about Ashton's work. So there is a particular English style of choreography that is appealing. So we might give some insights into that aspect of Frederick Ashton's choreography in particular. We might also be talking about it as a family-friendly ballet. It might also be the dancers approaching the Ashton technique that is particularly appealing. Or it could be the countryside, the English countryside, the design of it, that is very appealing. So each time we will be looking at what that language is, and we will be trying to reflect that in imagery, in words, and in ways that will be appealing for our audiences. When I was working at the Royal Ballet School, the Royal Ballet School motto there was strength and grace, and I think that's such a wonderful analogy for what the dancers do. And I often think about what Annette de Valois said, which is quoted a lot, and I think it's very good to think of, is that she would talk about respecting the past, heralding the future, but concentrate on the present. So I think we've got lots of exciting things to talk about. Within the Royal Opera House repertory, we have a lot of wonderful heritage work of the older choreographers. We've got the 19th century ballets, which are very beautiful. We've also got the work of Frederick Ashton and Kenneth Macmillan, and we've got today's work by our resident choreographer, Wayne McGregor, and we've also got our artistic associate, Christopher Wheeldon's ballets, and we've got new work being created into the future. It's always busy, it's always driving, and we love to be able to share that. Very excited about Japan. It's always such a lovely place to visit, and what I love about coming to perform, for the dancers to come and perform in the theatre, is that I feel the audiences, as well as being enthusiastic, are very knowledgeable. It's a very special quality. They really know what they're looking at, and I think that's what makes it very exciting. It's been a long tradition of going there, and I particularly enjoy going to Japan. I have some friends there as well, made over many years, and it always feels a very special community. And we're back to that idea of the communion between audiences and the dancers, so that's very special. Also, I'm very excited about Giselle being taken to Japan. I think Giselle it's the quintessential romantic ballet. It is so beautiful, and it gives wonderful opportunities to those dancers in the lead roles, but also in the corps de ballet in Act 2. I think is so special. It's magical, it's ethereal, it's haunting, it's got such an atmosphere to it, and I feel that that's a ballet that goes back centuries but still feels very relevant today. It's a ballet I personally love photographing. I do some photographs myself, and I feel that the spirit of the ballet lends itself very well to artistic capture. And I think even though ballet is an ephemeral art form, you see it and it disappears, but it will always stay in the heart. And this ballet is one that I think if you see it even only once, it will stay with you forever.